today, so I just got off of work. Actually didn't really stop work so much as kind
Ooh.
of just like floated away.
I
So
feel
it's
you. Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night, so welcome to What's New? And tonight my guest is Dennis Furia, who I just told him has
Nailed
the
it.
coolest last name in tabletop gaming. Um, so Dennis is here tonight to give us a sneak peek at a game that he has coming to Kickstarter in August, called Deck of Wonders. I got a sneak peek of the sneak peek the other day. And so if you enjoy LCGs, TCGs, and he's going to do a much better job of explaining this than what I'm going to do. But if you follow the channel, you know that that's kind of what our background is. So we were very intrigued to hear about this game. But it is built specifically for solo play, which is really cool. And given the current state of affairs in the world, who couldn't use some extra really awesome solo gaming in their life? So Dennis, I'm going to let you kind of jump in. What's new?
Yeah, what is new? It is, man, everything is feeling new, especially because this is the week that Deck of Wonders has really gone public in many ways. We've been working on this game for a year about now and have been, putting out stuff in general throughout, but this is when we've started revealing a lot of art.
Nice.
This is when just a lot of different things are coming together. We announced the launch date of our Kickstarter, which is going to be August 25th.
Very cool. It'll be here before you know it. Blink and it'll be here.
Oh my God. Don't remind me. I'm just going to go have a panic attack over there.
Sure. Yeah, it's okay. I'll send the corgi. It's all good.
Yeah, send the corgi. The new thing is that we are starting to reveal a lot of what the final art for this game looks like. And then in line with that, at Gen Con, people are going to be able to get their hands on the game, metaphorically, not in person, but digitally through Tabletop Simulator, and play the game with complete full art at Gen Con. So that's hyper exciting. We're showing people what that looks like and revealing new pieces of art. And so this, I've been demoing in Tabletop Simulator for a long time, using placeholder art, which we'll see in the first part of this, and then we'll get to see the final art that
nice.
kind of links to at the end. And so this is almost a last hurrah for the placeholder art demo in many ways.
I agree.
And we're out with the old and in with the new here art-wise.
Very cool. Well, and as we kind of talk through it, one, I find it really cool that you built this specifically with solo play in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that came from the fact that I'm a parent. I have 2 young kids, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and one on the way, which is exciting, due in December. My wife was like, yeah, you need to make sure you do this Kickstarter before baby.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I'm like, you gave yourself a little buffer room. That was very, very smart that you've got a little time to be less, you'll be super sleep deprived, but the Kickstarter will be over by then, so it'll be okay.
That's right. A Kickstarter will be basically trial run for having a newborn. No sleep, constantly worried that something's going to go wrong.
Right.
No. So, what that means is I don't have capacity a lot of the time for the robust marathon game nights that are part and parcel with the kind of games that I like.
Yeah.
I love complex games. I love deep strategy games. I love campaign games where you're playing with the same group of people week over week.
Oh, sure. Yep.
And actually, we had been playing with one of my gaming groups, Gloomhaven.
Oh, yes. We just started Jaws of the Lion last week, so I'm...
Very cool.
I have Gloomhaven Light. We're doing Gloomhaven Light.
Yeah. Well, almost, it's the same insight, right? Like, it takes us an hour to set up, and then you play, to make it worth the hour of setup, you play for 3 or more.
Right.
And then you need an hour to tear down to do it justice, but what you do, because you're exhausted and it's 1 a.m., is you stuff everything back in the box. Or try to. It never actually fits.
Oh, my gosh. And it's no different in Jaws of the Lion. It's just as hard to get it all. It doesn't quite... you have to
it's
stand on one leg and do the hokey pokey to get everything back in the box.
Yeah, Broken Token is a godsend. If you can afford it.
I've heard that's a great insert.
It's an expansion in and of itself to just save you that hour every week. Anyway, so we kind of got done with that. No, we didn't finish it. We realized we were done with it, and just it had been so painful. A great game, but so painful to coordinate schedules and find the time and all that. And just the insight came up of man, I want a deep, meaty, strategic game that is not long, that
Yep.
that I can sneak in over nap time
Yeah.
and still feel like I'm getting an in-depth experience. And combined with that, I love collectible card games. I played a lot of Hearthstone back in the day,
Oh,
and
sure.
all that stuff. And that is an experience I was like, maybe there's a way to do that as a solitaire experience that evolves as you play it, so you're constantly getting new challenges and new deck building opportunities. Because that kind of a single game of Magic or a single game of Hearthstone fits into that 15-minute compartment most of the
Absolutely.
time,
Yep.
unless you're
Yeah.
playing a control deck, and then it sucks. But
Yep.
so that was the idea, is like, can we create a solo experience that fits in over nap time, over lunch break, in the downtime, and you don't have to plan it with your friends. You can just have it in your pocket, have a little bit of excitement, adventure, whimsy, dare I say,
Right. Yeah.
at your fingertips, but still feel like you're getting a complete, deep strategic experience.
Yep.
And so Deck of Wonders was born.
Nice. And I think that you've done a good job of meeting that goal, at least from the demo that I've seen with it. Like, it is a nice
Thank you.
strategic experience. You have to think through your decisions, the villain's decisions. Like, there's definitely, like, there's plenty going on here. So I hope people realize that whenever as we're kind of walking through the game and how it works. So there's a lot to go through and think through on each one of and on everybody's turn.
Yeah. So I think that leads into looking at the game to talk about it, right? We're getting into territory where it's like, show me is better than tell me.
Oh,
absolutely. You want me to bring up Tabletop Simulator
Why
here?
not? Let me make a couple of adjustments here. Now, our secret special guest may be revealed whenever we. I'm giving her a warning. So go ahead. Let me flip over here. Technology challenged Kim's on the go, guys. So look out.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, Lauren, we see you, but don't tell everybody. You're totally fine. Lauren is going to be joining us as we do a big reveal in here in just a little bit. So it's like, pay no attention to the beautiful woman behind the curtain. That's where we are right now.
That's right.
All right, let me make sure that let me fix this. Oops, whoops. Yep, technology challenged Kim on the go.
Dance here while we wait.
Oh yeah, you know what, Lauren, I can still keep you mostly hidden. It's okay. Your secret's still safe. There we go. Cool. All right, so everybody should be able to see things. Optimal play. I see your comments. We will chat about corgis anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
I mean, we can. If you can see my screen, you can see the corgis now. We have.
Dennis caught my attention. Like this, and this is the art that I have to know more about.
Yours
this game.
and the world's. I
have to know more about this game. By golly, I've got to know. Because that's not. And I will I'm going to sing the praises now, and I will do it again in a little bit. The art in this game is amazing. And so yes, I totally need a corgi and a pixie up hanging in this game room somewhere for sure.
So, and we've alluded to it. So we're going to be revealing a new piece of art tonight.
We are.
Never
so
before
excited.
seen to the world. And to help us do that is the woman responsible for what you're seeing on the table, and just the beautiful art that we have for Deck of Wonders. I have done none of this. I've briefed it and then watched magic happen.
So
and that is so
talented.
much fun. Yes. And so what you're seeing is reflective of where the final art is going to be. Though, as I referenced at the beginning, up until now, I've been using placeholder art in the demos, and so you can see here a picture of Cullen the Spoiled Prince, who is the villain that you're going to go up against tonight. I can even turn over a card to just give. It's kind of all black and white thumbnail sketch style art.
It's still better than anything
great.
I could ever do.
Same
Way
here,
better
yes.
than anything that I could ever do. There would be little stick people and poor charade things.
So the funny story is the very first prototype of Deck of Wonders that I took to Gen Con 2019 when I debuted the game was literally a no art prototype. It had the numbers.
Oh wow!
And it had little boxes basically being like art goes here. I think it might have even said coming soon or something like that. And that's what I demoed and, believe it or not, sold at Gen Con.
Oh my gosh.
And people snapped it up. I think I brought 20 and I left with 2.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 of the original prototypes. Down to, I actually believe it was this card, Earth Shield, On the villain side, and we'll get into what you guys are looking at in a second. On the villain side, it has draw one, and I had forgotten to print that. And so I went to a FedEx and I printed on sticker paper,
Oh my
just draw
gosh.
one, draw one, draw one,
Oh
over
my
and over again.
gosh.
I think it, 20 times
Yeah.
in 9-point font. Used my wife's arts and crafts like slicer to
Yep.
cut out tiny draw one stickers and put them on the cards.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that's where we've come from. And to go from
Nice.
there to, I'm gonna pull off of the forest troll here, to go from there to kind of the
Yeah.
beautiful forest troll that you see, and the other art and cards that you're gonna see tonight is an incredible journey, and what
Yeah.
I've been so happy to share with people.
Well, and I find that the journey of someone like you who is a designer, how you get from those little scraps of paper as you're designing a game, it's a fascinating journey for me, because my brain doesn't work that way. I can play games all day for hours on end, but I've never even tried to conceptualize creating a game. And so I think that's just a fascinating thing. And kudos to you. And just as many iterations and how much time that you spend on it, and like these becomes like another child of yours, essentially.
Sure. This is, I believe, the 34th iteration of the game that you are going to play tonight.
Nice.
So yeah, in a year of 34 different distinct versions that have been play tested and then improved.
Wow.
Yeah, and my question to you would be: have you ever house ruled while playing a game? Have you ever set up a house rule?
A little. We've got a couple that we do, but for the most part, we stick. I'm an avid rules follower. Those the people that know me, I can't break the rules very well. So legacy games are a challenge for me when they tell you to tear up a card or something like that. I'm like, I can't write in a book. I can't tear up a card. What are you talking about? So no, we don't house rule too much, unless it's like, okay, this is kind of broken, and I'm trying to think. I can't think of a game off the top of my head that we have one for, but I'm sure we do.
Okay. Yeah, most people have, and you don't even think of it very much, like you're describing, just because it feels natural, and you realize, like, this is kind of broken.
Yep.
I have an idea what would be more fun, and you make that little tweak and change. And I would say, if you can do that, you can design your own game. Now,
Sure.
I know those two things feel worlds and worlds apart, but
Yeah.
the underlying principles and thinking that go into that, like there was a quote from Jake Knapp. He's the guy who wrote the book Sprint.
Okay.
Just an amazing designer, and talked about, I'm paraphrasing, but the courage and vulnerability it takes for someone to step in the ring and try to be a designer
Yeah.
is itself the measuring stick of how much right they have to be there. If you are brave enough and courageous enough and vulnerable enough to try making a game, you have every right to be there making that
Absolutely.
game, because the courage it takes to do it is
Oh my gosh.
itself
Yes.
the qualifier
That's
for being
awesome.
there. And God help me, that's the only reason I'm able to call myself a designer. I did, was dumb or brazen enough to call myself one and start trying to make a game. And it has just been an amazing experience. The
Yeah.
community is awesome. Like, first off, the community of people that plays board games is amazing.
I
right?
totally agree with
It's
that.
just-
Yep.
It's fantastic. And the community of people who make the games that are being played is every bit as welcoming and friendly and fantastic as the people playing. So,
Yeah.
man, it's a cool thing to be a part of, even in a small way.
Yep. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's talk
yeah,
about
take
this
us
game.
on this
Yeah, what
journey.
are we doing
Yeah,
here?
because
I'll try.
I'm sure
Yeah.
people are interested. Like the thing that I find the most intriguing in this is what you're going to get into. That you have one deck. One of it is one of it is good. One of it is evil. I mean, I guess you can kind of go about that different ways. How we're wild and
Good, evil, friendly, unfriendly, wild, tame.
Yeah. We
all
were trying to
those
decide if we were
things.
wild or tame this evening, so that is why I've had a wild day. We're on the wild side of the board.
Yeah, so the story of this game is that you have stolen the deck of wonders from Fate herself. And Fate, think of her as the deity that presides over this world. And the deck of wonders is her treasured, powerful magical artifact. And you've gone and stolen it. What have you done?
Oh boy.
And of course, she sends her followers after you to take it back. And in addition, the darker forces in this world see an opportunity to take the deck for themselves, and you become very popular very quickly. And find yourself, having taken this treasure, with all sorts of villains on your door trying to take it back, either at the behest of Fate or of their own selfish motives. And you are battling with them for control of the deck of wonders, using the deck of wonders as your tool, as your weapon. And that is the construct for this game. Is you're going to choose a villain to face off of. They're going to have their own tact at trying to take the deck of wonders from you. You're going to figure out how to respond to that, and you're going to play the game feeling a lot like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, trying to keep control of the deck of wonders and defeat the villain before they defeat you. So that is the world that we are stepping into.
I love this world.
Thematic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wish we had more time, because Dennis and I got to talk the other night, and all the stuff he's put into this, like, he has this awesome world already created, you guys. It's so cool.
It's one of those things that it's fun to doodle about and write about.
Oh, sure.
And I'm sure 90% of it will never see the light of day.
You never know.
And some of it is so unpolished. I really hope it never sees the light of day. But it's all there, and it helps make the game more rich, I hope.
Yeah.
So I'm shuffling up here the deck of wonders, and what you'll notice is that for a two-sided game that mimics the feel of Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering, there is only one deck. And that's because both sides put their cards into a single deck, thematically the deck of wonders. And that is what both sides are going to draw out of. So as you're making decisions on what to play with, you're not just deciding for yourself, you're deciding for your opponent. And so you can't just, shove overpowered cards into the deck. You need to be very thoughtful about what the advantages and disadvantages of each card are on both sides. So I'll zoom in here. I just drew 3 at random. You guys saw me shuffling. So we're going to improvise this demo. And I probably should have stacked a deck so everything goes smooth. But this is live. What the heck? Let's do it.
It went pretty well when we did it on the fly and had a great game the other night. So
yeah, we did. So what you see here, and again, this is a kind of a close-up of that thumbnail art that you're going to see. Oh, by the way, Forest Troll. So I just drew Forest Troll.
Oh, Forest Troll.
And you can see kind of that mirrored format. This is what the Forest Troll looks like now. This is how Lauren has taken to the next level.
Amazing, you guys?
Forest Troll. So absolutely.
He is one bad mamma jamma.
Beautiful.
Like, I would not want to mess with him.
Well, and we'll talk about. I'll reveal in a little bit, but she is one bad mama, is what I'll say.
Nice.
We'll come back to that. A little intrigue there. Anyway,
Spoilers.
So when you draw the card, if you're drawing on your turn, you only pay attention to the player side, which is bordered in white in this prototype and is in line with the card text. If you draw it on the villain's turn, you only pay attention. I can rotate cards. You only pay attention to the villain side, bordered in black. And those two sides mirror each other in interesting ways. For example, the Forest Troll is a 5/3 minion for you, and it costs 2, discard 2 to play, meaning if you want to play the Forest Troll, you need to discard 2 other cards from your hand. So it's a powerful minion as they come in Deck of Wonders, but it's very expensive. On the villain side, same thing, powerful minion, but its text is when it comes into the play area, it destroys one other villain minion. So same kind of feel of like this troll is stomping into battle and it doesn't care who it kills.
So thematic.
And it's just going to run over one of its own teammates on its way to come get you. So that is kind of how the cards mirror each other in interesting ways. Thematically, it's the same minion, it's the same spell, but it's 2 different sides of the same coin. Which is
cool.
Very in line with the Deck of Wonders, in the idea that fate is kind of playing with what you get, just depending on when it's drawn.
And like we learned in the game, we did read the text, because it is not identical text.
Read the text carefully. Yes. Players will be familiar if they're into CCGs with attack at the top left there, kind of the fractured icon. And health on the right over here, the hospital + icon. In the color version in the template that has minions, you'll see they're much easier to distinguish, as are the sides in general with color. That's mirrored on the villain side, so attack, health, and then you'll notice the player side has a third statistic here, and this is a statistic that is unique to Deck of Wonders called priority. And like you mentioned, this is a solo game. You're doing a card battler, battling against the rules, battling against an AI villain. And we'll get into it in a second, but priority is the brain behind that villain.
Yep.
And broadly, the villain will always attack the highest priority minion first. And so as these are costed, or as these are statted for priority, it's almost a balancing tool.
Sure.
For example, a forest troll is high priority. It's a 3 priority minion because it's going to stand on top of a lot of their stuff and pull attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you'll notice Hungry Wolf is weaker, but still statted at 3 priority, meaning one of its key advantages, despite having worse stats, objectively worse stats, is that it can also stand in front of other minions, and that's part of the card's power. And so as you evaluate a card as a player, thinking about what you're going to use and how, priority factors in, and thinking about how to combo cards of different priority to force the villain into bad decisions is going to be how you get ahead in this game.
And that's the fun thinky part of it that I really enjoyed, because I feel like it's if you're familiar with CCGs and LCGs, you're gonna sit down and you're already gonna have some brain power that does that kind of logical thinking for you. But the fastest path you think of is not always the best path. And I feel like as you play that, you'll start to learn, oh, I could have played that totally differently, and this is how it would have played out. And I think that's really...
Yes.
And that was one of the things I always liked about an LCG and a CCG, is how that back and forth in combat worked based on what my split-second decision was at that moment, and then you go back and rewind it in your head going, oh, I should have done this.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And so far, I'm the one saying it. I think it approximates that kind of the decision making of an opposing player pretty well. So, I mean, we're gonna play it here, so we'll figure it out. So that's the stats that you'll see here. Spell cards are pretty obviously spell cards because they don't have stats, right? That's the that's an easy way to know what to spell. But they will have card text, and when they are played, you immediately resolve the card text and then discard the card. So, for example, this one, Guerrilla Tactics, says if the villain has 2 or more minions in play, draw 2. So this is a draw tool, but it's a conditional draw tool. On your turn, when you play minions, similar to Magic the Gathering, you'll play them tapped or sideways, exhausted, if you will.
Tapped, Dennis. They're gonna come get us.
I know. Magic. So you resolve their card text, but you cannot attack with them that turn. They'll refresh at the end of the turn, and then next turn, if they survive, you'll be able to attack with them.
Yep.
And like I said, it's kind of a tactical duel to make sure that they get to that point. The villain's turn works a little different. So the theme in this game is Fate does not like you, right? You have pissed off Fate.
Exactly.
Bad decision. And as she's coming at you and as she's empowering minions and villains to come after you, they get special treatment. So when the villain draws a minion, it is allowed to attack on the turn that it is played. And so when you see a villain minion drawn, and put into play, you know that later that turn, that same minion is going to attack. I'm going to flip over a couple minions here just for funsies. Obviously, you get to see these all up close and personal when we play. Okay, let's do this. So on the villain's turn, or on your turn, you can attack with a minion, just like you would in other games, where you choose what to attack with. You choose the target that you're attacking, be it another minion or the villain themselves, to reduce their health. And exhaust the minion to attack. And then at the end of the turn, it comes back. On the villain's turn, you are going to do something a little different. Let me turn this guy right side up. There we go. On the villain's turn, you're going to draw a minion. And let's say we drew Hungry Wolf here. So you draw and resolve all the cards. And then between drawing the card and attacking with minions that are in play, you're going to do something called draw battle lines. And in drawing battle lines, what you are allowed to do is change the order of these cards. Order left to right matters. On your side, you have to arrange the cards left to right in order of priority. So a higher priority, for example, Reinforced Dam here is priority 4, goes further left than lower priority cards. Forest Troll goes on the right here, priority 3. Make sense?
Yep.
I
all know our numbers, kids,
already, right? Audience,
know, right?
Makes sense.
Everybody
and
nod
the way,
really loud together, and we'll hear you.
What does nodding loud sound like?
All together.
It sounds like heavy metal, I think.
I think it does.
I can't see the chat, so if anyone is asking questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm watching here. So far, they're just having a lot of fun.
Cool. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And in the same way, villain minions, you are allowed to arrange in any order that you want. They don't have priority. So this represents you as kind of that guerrilla force, or that weaker, smaller, scrappier opponent, being the one who gets to choose your battles. You're kind of influencing who engages who and when. And that's your one advantage, is the smaller person, right?
Yep.
So let's just play this out the way that the cards have fallen here, and then we'll go through how the priority system is going to change things based on your decision making in the battle lines phase. So we've locked in battle lines phase. We had to do this. We chose to do this. Let's see how it plays out. The rule that the villain uses when they attack is that they will always attack the highest priority minion first, as long as they will destroy it this turn collectively, attacking in order left to right. So when you're choosing their order up here, you are setting the order that they must attack in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this case, the villain looks at this and goes, "Oh, this is fine for me. My Forest Troll has to attack first. It has to target the Reinforced Dam because it's going to kill it. 5 damage versus 4 health, easy peasy.
Yep.
The Reinforced Dam deals damage back, but that damage is 0, right? Not great. It's not going to destroy the Forest Troll. Still sticky to get rid of,
man. We know that.
They are tough.
Reinforced dams just hang out there for a while.
They're reinforced. Of course
exactly.
They do. So that was the first villain decision. Again, based on the highest priority minion, and I will kill it if I can. Second up here, we have the Hungry Wolf. Hungry like the wolf.
Nice.
And it has 3 attack, which is enough to destroy the new highest priority minion. So ding, now the Forest Troll is highest priority because the dam has been taken out.
Yep.
And the wolf is going to attack the Forest Troll because it can take out the Forest Troll's health, 3 damage versus 3 health. The Forest Troll deals its substantial damage back to the wolf, which only had 1 health to begin with, poor guy. So the wolf is going to be taken out as well. Yeah. And both are discarded. And at the end of this turn, I'm not super happy about this. I've lost all my minions, and the villain still has a Forest Troll.
Yep.
So that was the way the cards fell. Let's see if we can influence this just by changing the order. Zip. So again, we're forced into this, and this is optional for us. We get to choose. So let's put the Hungry Wolf first. Now the villain looks and goes, okay, my first attack, I only deal 3 damage, and the Reinforced Dam has 4. Not enough. But attacking in order, 3 plus 5 is 8, and that's more than enough to kill the Reinforced Dam. And so both of these minions will collectively destroy it, so they target it. And they are going to attack the Reinforced Dam one after the other. Effectively, the Hungry Wolf is forced to waste its attack because it has to attack first. You've ordered it that way. And the Reinforced Dam is in the way of like the better target. And so you've kind of forced the villain into a bad decision, wasting an attack. You still lose your Reinforced Dam. However, the villain's turn is now over. It's your turn. And you can start wrecking shop with your Forest Troll.
Which is
now,
great.
make that play when the villain has 5 health left, and you've just won yourself the game.
Yep.
Right? And that's the fun, is all those little decisions on keeping board control or pushing damage to face by manipulating the priority system is how you get ahead in this game.
Yep.
And I want to be very clear. I have balanced this game to be I won't say incredibly, very difficult, right?
Sure.
I won't say incredibly because I'm worried people are going to be scared away.
Right. Sure.
So it is difficult, and it is going to be a challenge to win, and you will feel like you earn your wins. You are going to have to find every little opportunity and arbitrage and kind of loophole in the rules to beat the rules that favor the villain. Because again, fate likes the villain better than you.
Exactly.
She's kind of mad at you for taking her stuff.
Yep.
And that's the priority system. That's what's going on at the card moment-to-moment gameplay level. Any questions or thoughts on that? Or
and I feel like when you showed this to me when we were going through it the other night, that's like when you showed, look, this is how you could also play this out. I went, whoa, like that's well, because most of the time the game is you take this action and this is the result. And so with this one, you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like I have to, it showed a nice level of depth to this game that. Going into it, I didn't necessarily know what to expect, and I went, "Oh, I really like that."
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to show it in action with the actually playing. So let's start the game. And when you start the game, the first thing you're always going to do is choose a villain to face off against. I've brought Cullen the Spoiled Prince here to the demo tonight with his punchable
face.
And you can probably read it here on the screen, but he's a spoiled prince. He thinks of himself as fate's favorite. And he can't bear the idea that she's actually paying more attention to you than she is to him.
Right.
Like he thinks he is the center of the universe, and how dare you take fate's attention off of him? Really, fate doesn't care about him at all. he's just got rich parents and is spoiled and thinks he's all that, right?
I feel like we all know somebody
But
like that.
yeah, there might be someone like that leaving the country right now. Anyway, the Cullen believes that by taking the deck of wonders from you, he can get attention back for himself, and then the world will be as it should, in his mind. So that's why he's coming after you with all of his minions to say like, okay, I'm gonna get Fate's favor back by putting you in your place. Ha ha ha. Little does he know, everyone that works for him secretly hates him. Like he's that kind of guy.
We've all had that
Now,
boss.
Cullen
too.
is also yeah, we've got that boss. Cullen's impatient. You're actually going to see a discrepancy here on the card text versus what the rules are, because this is an evolving game. A little balancing tweak here. Cullen is impatient, right? He doesn't like to wait for stuff, and so whereas health usually starts at 30, when you face off against Cullen, you have to start at 20 health. And every villain has something like that, or multiple things like that, where there are twists and turns that they add to the rules that you have to abide by while you're fighting them. So if you're facing off against Cullen, you have to play by his rules.
Gotcha.
In addition, every villain also has special legacy packs. And I'll zoom out. Those are over here, the cryptic legacy packs off on the far side of the table. These are packs of cards. You don't know what's in them, but there are conditions on every villain for when you open them.
I think this is
When
so
you
cool.
meet those conditions, yeah, thank you. When you meet those conditions, you stop what you're doing, open the pack, and add those cards to the game. That might be a boon for you. That might hurt you. They might be cards that go into your deck. They might be cards that go somewhere else in the play area. And the rules and even the objectives of what you're trying to do are going to change based on the villain you're facing off against and the legacy packs that you've opened.
That's so cool.
And so my hope, my goal as a designer is just as you start feeling like you've got Cullen figured out, like, aha, I've got your number, you reach the point where you open a legacy pack, and that changes everything. And now you got to rebuild your strategy, rebuild your deck, and figure them out again. And then once you get that figured out, you open another legacy pack, and it's just this, a constant evolution in learning, mastering, and then changing. Learn, master, change. That's the loop I want you to always have at your fingertips as a solo player.
Now we do have one question from that. Are the legacy packs always the same? So for example, would Legacy Pack A always contain the same cards?
Great question. Yeah, I am not here for the traditional CCG model of random booster packs. So you will not know what's in the packs, but I will, and everyone who buys the game is going to get a complete experience. So yeah, one player's Legacy Pack A is going to be the same as another player's Legacy Pack A.
Cool. Now, do the villains still always bring the same packs to the table? Good questions.
That's the fun part. Okay, so yes, the Legacy Pack's unlocks are attached to a villain. So you need to unlock Legacy Pack A by doing X with Cullen, right? And that's just that, that forces you to try different villains and try different strategies, etc. Once you've unlocked it, you can use those cards, and as you kind of progress through the regular game, you might use those cards. But there will also be opportunities to just go back and kind of, well, what if I use this legacy pack plus this legacy pack from another villain? Can I win with those two combined? Or what if I incorporate these new minions in, but that means I'm going to change something else about my deck. And so while the way you unlock the legacy packs is going to be consistent, once you've kind of progressed to that point in the game, they are yours to use as you see fit.
Nice.
Yeah. And hopefully that sounded clear in my head. I have no idea if that makes sense to someone that
Kirby, if you have
watching,
more questions, I'm watching the chat. Feel free to drop them in there. I like that. I think that's such a because it is like with a CCG. You're like, well, what am I gonna get? Oh, cool! It's another that same pack, like the dead card that I didn't want. So I like that this has hurt you or help you.
And I this might be saying too much. I don't know. As a designer, like I love the idea that you would open a legacy pack and be like, okay, this card is clearly meant to hurt me, and it's a more difficult thing that I have to play around now, right? And so you're like, okay, I gotta fight through this obstacle, and then later in the game you're gonna unlock something else, and you're gonna go, wait a second, okay, that obstacle that I had earlier actually combos really well with this other card. Now this is feeling pretty cool. And you're going to see cards in a new light as you unlock legacy packs. So
that's awesome.
My hope is, and what I'm working towards, is that this game feels fresh every time you play it. And I will tell you, you know, because it's a solo game, I can play test it to hell and back.
Sure, yeah.
And so I'm at like 320 play tests or something like that, and I'm still seeing new things.
Yeah.
And I hope
And that's
players will as
exciting.
well.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
Thank you. Yeah. My goodness, we haven't even turned over a card yet.
I know.
So
I told you I was a
final
chatty
thing-
Cathy. I warned you all ahead of time.
Yeah, and you guys can just start like chanting "play the game" if this goes too long. The final thing that a villain does. So every villain does three things. The first is has unique rules that you have to play around. It could be health totals. It could be persistent effects you have to play around. It could even change the win and loss conditions of the game itself. Second thing is legacy packs, which are going to do everything that we just described. Third thing is they provide villain cards. If you're facing off against a villain, you have to use their cards in your deck. And like I said, every villain has their own tact or way in to try to get the deck from you. Cullen is going to be kind of mid-rangey and try to overwhelm you with his minions that he's convinced are loyal and may not be. Other villains might be super aggressive and just all out come after you, don't care about hurting themselves or the people around them. They're just going to burn you down. Other villains might be very calculated and try to trick you and steal your minions and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so that is, you know, every villain has a very unique flavor to them. And if you're facing off against a villain, you have to use their cards in your deck. However, to those cards, you are going to add cards from your collection, which is a very broad swath of cards. If you buy the game, you get the entire base collection.
Cool.
So there's, again, no random element to this. You get the game when you buy it.
That.
And you look at what the villain is forcing you to play with, and you say, all right, well, I think this is going to combo well. I think this is going to counter that. And you kind of build your deck in response to the challenge set forth by the villain. All those get shuffled together in a single deck, and we are off to play.
Cool. Which you don't have that opportunity, like in a CCG type LCG card. I don't know what my opponent brought to the table.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping what I have in my deck will play around it, so that's cool.
Well, and you know, if in certain metas you're kind of like, okay, it's you know, I don't know what's good in the Hearthstone meta now, but like,
yeah, it's an aggro
you know,
meta.
okay, it's a warlock. It's gonna be Zulok. That's dating me. That's like a 10-year ago statement.
I won't know.
Was Hearthstone around 10 years ago? No.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
we're gonna say no. That way, yeah. Exactly.
What is time? Yeah, definitely no.
I'm just gonna go, no,
so anyway, that's everything going on in Deck of Wonders. That sets us up for our first game, dropping the gauntlet with Cullen and battling it out to see if we can best him or if he is going to get the best of us. Shall we?
Sure, let's do it. I'm going to let you lead the way because you know how disruptive I am on TTS. We'll be here till Thursday.
Sure. Do you want to vacate that spot and I'll jump in, and that way I can just draw into my hand?
Oh, I can do that. How do I, as soon as I think about...
Click on your name, click change color, and then click... oh yeah, I can't kick you off of it.
Right click on it?
You know what? I can...
Here we go.
Yeah, just click on your name, click change... name at the top right of the screen, click change color, and then click any other spot on the table. What I'm going to ask is try to click the gray spot, and that'll hopefully let you see my hand.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because if you can't see my hand, then everyone else will get the benefit, and you won't. So,
that's okay. I can at least see the stream while we're playing, because gray does not pop up as an option for me. So I'll just come over there.
Okay, there we go. All right, so here we are. This is the start of the game. I've drawn an opening hand of 4 cards. I have the option, should I so choose, to mulligan these cards, and it's an all or nothing. So I either keep all 4 or I discard all 4 and draw a new 4. If you had built this deck, you would know what you want in your opening hand, what you're looking for, what's good enough to keep, etc. Right now, you're just going to have to trust me. And I'm going to be the first to say, you know, I'm okay at card games. I'm not the greatest. So I'm, you know, I frequently, it's like, oh,
you guys.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to tell you what my win rate is. So here is, you know, an opening hand. I've got a reinforced dam. Oh, what's the alt? There we go. I don't know if you can see the alt. You can probably see it on the stream.
Yep.
So it's a 0/4 minion. So lots of health, no attack. We saw that one earlier. I've got Gust of Wind, which will destroy all minions with base 1 health. Notice on the villain side, just to show how these cards balance, their side destroys all player minions with 1 base health, meaning they get the benefit. They are more targeted than mine, which just destroys everyone, giving them an advantage. Again, fate favors the villain. I've got Lightning Strike, which is some removal, so I have to discard a card to play it, but I destroy a minion with 2 or less health and draw 1. And then I've got Hungry Wolf, which is kind of no flavor text, but is a 3/1 minion to put out there. I'm gonna just let's try something. I'm gonna discard these and draw again, because
You're gonna mulligan,
want,
huh?
yeah, I'm gonna mulligan. I'm hoping for higher health totals overall. The one
That's fair.
dam I don't think is gonna be enough. There we go. Okay, so I've drawn a Pixie Cavalry, which is a 3 health,
Oh, I like that
2
one.
damage minion. I like that. I like that a little better. I'm gonna play that alongside the Pixie Mesmerist, which is a 1/2. But what's powerful about the Pixie Mesmerist is its priority, like we talked earlier. This is a small minion, which usually means the villain would ignore it, but it's 4 priorities. It can get up in the face of whoever is attacking.
Didn't I
I'm
just
gonna play
see you
those two.
release art for this card? Isn't that the one?
Yes, we just recently put up art
Thoughts.
for
If you
Pixie
want to see the
Mesmerist.
final, make sure that you go to their website, or not to go to your social media. I've seen it bouncing around.
Yeah, go to
the
my site.
webs.
It's all over the socials right now.
Sorry.
Deck of Wonders, all one word on Instagram and on Facebook, and then Deck of Wonders with underscores between each word on Twitter. Good alley-oop. I like that. So I'm going to play those 2 minions. I'm going to hold these 2 cards. I have Guerrilla Tactics, which will allow me to draw 2 if the villain has 2 or more minions in play. And then I've got Lightning Strike, which is that removal we talked about earlier. Now it's the villain's turn. And the villain's first turn, they're going to get 3 cards in a row. So let's go here. They draw Earth Shield. Earth Shield is a spell that would protect a minion, but there's no minions on the villain side to protect. So instead, it's just going to draw 1. And I've balanced the spells that a lot of villain spells that are situational have draw 1. And so when I say the villain's going to get 3 cards, I mean they get as many cards as they get on 3 normal draws, right?
Nice.
So another card, Guerrilla Tactics. Player has 4 more minions, destroy all player minions, draw 1. I can't do the former, but I can do the latter. So those spells are having no effect. Great for me, but they're
I was going to say, this is a great
Not
opening
great
hand
for
for
me.
you from him.
Yeah, except I just drew a Forest Troll.
Oh, that's
no.
not great.
Normally it would destroy another villain minion, but I still haven't drawn any villain minions, so
Yeah.
the Forest Troll just gets to come out to play. That is draw 1 for the villain. Now draw 2. Baited Trap. Oh no. Baited Trap for the villain says destroy the lowest priority player minion. Pixie Mesmerist is 4, Pixie Cavalry is 2.
Oh, man.
The spell does not have any permanent impact, but yeah, I lose my Pixie Cavalry like that. And the third draw for the villain is going to be Gnomish Servant, a 1/1 minion that draws 1. So the villain's going to get another
the art on the
card.
right. You guys, check that out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here is the Gnomish Servant. Again, wonderful work by Lauren Brown.
Amazing.
And you can see both sides of it there. It's going to draw into another Baited Trap, which is going to take out my Pixie Mesmerist. I am left exposed here, and that is the villain's opening draws. Yes. That means,
that
like
changed
I mentioned,
quickly.
villain. Yeah, that changed real quick. Now, here's the thing. The bad thing is I lost 2 minions, off the bat, and I'm not going to be able to trade. I'm just going to get hit in the face. As a card counter, I know now that 2 Baited Traps have come out. And I know that the deck is lighter and has less hard removal for later on. So if I can survive this onslaught, and by the way, I totally might not, but if I can survive this onslaught, I now know that the deck is a little safer for me to throw minions out behind. And I can make plans like that. So the Forest Troll is going to attack. The Gnomish Servant is going to attack. I'm going to take 6 damage. Ouch on my opening turn.
Ouch.
Rough stuff. That ends the villain's turn. From here on out, we each draw 1 card a turn. Now,
so it's the upkeep
this
for
is
those
cool.
of you previous Magic players.
Yeah, exactly. I have all spells in my hand, and so I'm looking like, oh no.
Oh no.
I'm getting stared down. I have no minions in my hand. What am I gonna do? But I've got 2 Guerrilla Tactics cards.
Ooh.
And this card, if you are behind, if the villain has 2 or more minions in play, draw 2. So what I'm gonna do is, before I address either of these minions, I'm gonna use the fact that the villain is ganging up on me to draw a ton of cards. So I get 2 here. I drew another Guerrilla Tactics. All right, cool.
That's fantastic.
I draw 2 here. Just give me all the cards. We're gonna keep on going. I'm just like this suddenly became a mill deck.
Right.
All right. Now this is fun. Look, I have the other 2 Baited Traps. This is fantastic because I mulliganed a Lightning Strike as well. So I have 2 Lightning Strikes, 2 Baited Traps, and then another Pixie Mesmerist, another Pixie Cavalry.
That's pretty
in
good.
my hand. Yeah, you guys saw me shuffle this. I don't know why all these 4 cards are together in the top, but I'll take it. Now let's flip the script a little bit, villain. All right, I thought I was about to get demolished. I'm feeling much better about myself. Thank you to fate for that. If you remember, Lightning Strike allows me to destroy a minion with 2 or less base health. I can take out Gnomish Servant because it's a 1/1. So I'm going to play that. I have to pay a cost, and the question is, what do I discard?
Yep.
I'm going to hang on to my minions, and I think I'm going to discard a Baited Trap. And so that is the cost that I pay to play Lightning Strike. My benefit is I destroy that Gnomish Servant, and if you saw, it also draws a card.
Nice.
So here we go. Gnomish Servant. I like that. I also know that I want to get rid of this Forest Troll, right? What I'm going to... I was going to say, do I play the Gnomish Servant now and draw a card? Or do I just kind of use it as the discard? Here's the thinking. That Guerrilla Tactics card that was just so amazing for me, on the villain side, it says if you have 4 or more minions, so if you are ahead, destroy all those minions and draw a card for the villain. So it's a card that punishes hubris, right?
Oh yeah.
However, I know I've seen 3. There's only 1 left in this deck. I think I can afford to be aggressive. One of the downsides of playing Gnomish Servant on a turn where you want to load the board is it's a very weak minion on a turn where I might draw something that I would rather play. But let's see here.
That is
a
the
shield.
difficulty.
Okay,
in that,
I'm good.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I'm going to use a Baited Trap, excuse me, which is discard 1 and destroy a minion with 4 or less base health.
Nice.
I'm going to use Baited Trap to get that Forest Troll, and I'm going to pay with it. I'm going to pay with it with that shield that I drew. I think I'm okay because I'm going to send out smaller minions here, and I'm not as worried about losing one of them. So yeah. I'm going to play the Pixie Met, and I should be playing them like this. Bad, Dennis. Dude, play your own game right. Putting them out sideways to mark that they're not allowed to attack this turn. So, we're on turn 2, folks. Come on. We've already had one big swing. I got smacked in the face.
Yeah.
Thought I had a strong start.
That was a very eventful.
Put me down. Yeah, my God, we're 2 turns into the game, and then I came back and had the miracle draw of Guerrilla Tactics to get myself back in the lead. Now I'm 3 up. How am I going to get demolished now? You know, like what's around the corner?
What's coming?
I've intentionally saved Lightning Strike. If that shield had been another like bigger minion, I probably would have loaded up 4 minions on my side because there's only 1 Guerrilla Tactics left, and I'm all out. Let's go. That's my turn. I turned him back upright, upkeep, and we are over to the villain turn. The villain is going to draw Gust of Wind, which says on the villain side, destroy all player minions with 1 base health. So my little gnomish, thrown off into the nether by a Gust of Wind. Bye. Thank you for the card. And that's the villain's turn. Gust of Wind can be huge AoE. It can wipe your board if you have a bunch of smaller minions. In this case, it's nice because I keep 2. I lost 1, and that's the end of the villain's turn. It doesn't draw another card. My turn. So here we go. I've got Poison Toad. Poison Toad is a 1/1 minion, so like Gnomish Servant, except on both versions have poison. Hey, it's in the name. They destroy any minion it deals damage to. So this works like poison in Hearthstone.
I
very
grew to
powerful
like that card
card.
a lot. I grew to like this card
yeah.
a lot.
It's got some good utility.
It really does.
So if I play it now, I lose my Lightning Strike, which is removal with a cycle, and I like removal that cycles. I also like Poison Toad is functionally removal, but if I put that out and see another Gust of Wind, I just lose it, and I've paid a dear price. I'm going to sit on these cards, and I'm going to attack with Pixie Cavalry and Pixie Mesmerist. Chat, you can yell at me. Do you think that's the right decision? Do you think that's wrong? I go 3 damage to face. I'm going to hang on to my resources.
I like it.
We'll see what comes next.
No one's calling you out yet. I think you're okay.
All right. Good. Pixie Cavalry is drawn by the villain. So we've got the Cavalry square. It's a Pixie Fest right now.
It really is.
And it is, now we follow the rules, right? Battle lines, mine are already in priority order. It's going to target Pixie Mesmerist because that's highest. It is going to attack because it can kill it and deal 2 damage. Pixie Mesmerist deals 1 damage back, not enough to kill it, and I lose Pixie Mesmerist. Pixie Cavalry is just fine at the end of the villain's turn, and now I got to figure out how to deal with that. Gee, Dennis, if you had a Poison Toad, you could get rid of it. Shut up, I know.
But if you put it out there, something would have come along and taken it out.
I know. it would have been a different draw if I'd played
Totally.
that. All right. I got a Gnomish Servant. I can't use my Lightning Strike on the Pixie Cavalry because it only works on minions with 2 or less health. So I'm going to play this Gnomish Servant, a 1/1, and draw a card for myself.
Oh, that's right, because he lets you draw. Yeah, that was a good. I agree with your decision, Dennis. You know, the girl who's played the game once. I agree with your decision.
That's fine. Okay, so I could put the Pixie Mesmerist out there, or what I almost like better. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put that Poison Toad out there. I regretted not having it last turn. I'm going to have it this turn. I'm going to pay with it pay for it with the Pixie Mesmerist. Meaning that these two came in tapped. Yep. I can attack with the Pixie Cavalry, and 2 damage is not enough to destroy the other one, or the villains. So I'm going to use that to push more damage to face and deal 2 damage. And I'm back to 3 minions. I'm feeling good, feeling aggressive, feeling saucy. Let's see what we get.
Death Troll. Just kidding.
The villain, yeah, right. Forest Troll, it's not. Pixie Cavalry is what is drawn. Now this is interesting, right? Because I now have 2 minions on board of the same priority. And what you'll find is creating these opportunities, playing minions of the same priority, gives you flexibility.
Absolutely.
If I keep in this order, what happens is these 2 attack the Pixie Cavalry and I lose it. They are not destroyed because 2 damage is not enough to destroy either of them. If you guys can just imagine a giant battle in a field with corgis and pixies everywhere, like that's what's happening right now.
Love it.
What I could do is I could put the Toad in front. That's going to trade with one of the Pixie Cavalry. Then, and I am going to do this, so I'm just going to play it out. So first up, they will target the highest priority, and it can kill it. So it attacks the Poison Toad, deals its damage back to the attacking minion, and destroys it because it has poison.
Nice.
That is the first one.
That's why the Poison Frog is
now,
cool, you guys.
Yeah. Hey, it got one of the Pixie Cavalry for me. Now, my Pixie Cavalry has 3 health. Theirs only has 2 attack. It cannot destroy it, so it will ignore the minions entirely. Even though it could kill the Gnomish Servant, it only focuses on the highest priority, and it's going to deal damage to me. What that allows me to do now is, that's the end of the villain's turn. It's now my turn. I draw a card. Should I so choose, I could now trade with the Pixie Cavalry, losing only my Gnomish Servant, and keep board control. The other decision I can make is to push damage to face, go across the Pixie Cavalry, and deal 3 damage to Cullen. And I honestly am not sure what the right choice is. So I drew a spell, Gust of Wind. You guys are familiar. It's not going to help me here.
Yep.
So I honestly, I'm not sure if I should go for board control or if I should kind of go for damage. I'm gonna play board control. And tell me if you disagree with that.
No, I think that's probably what I would have done.
So I'm going to attack. The villain Pixie Cavalry deals its damage back and is destroyed. It's enough to kill the Gnomish Servant. It's not enough to kill my Pixie Cavalry.
Yep.
We'll see if that was the right decision, because it is now the villain's turn. Aha! They drew, for the first time this game, they drew the card that we are going to reveal art for tonight. So this is a spell called Regeneration.
I love this spell.
And as you can see, yes, it is a spell that can be very swingy. If there's a minion on top of the discard pile, move it into play exhausted and do not resolve its card text. The villain side is the same thing, except it also draws 1. I'm glad I just put the Gnomish Servant into the discard pile, because that is, of things to draw out. That's great. I want to call out something that I haven't mentioned yet, which is me putting them into the discard in that order was a strategic decision. Within an attack action or within a spell, the player gets to decide the order that involved cards that are destroyed and discarded go into the discard.
I like that a lot.
So when I discarded, I could have discarded the Pixie Cavalry first, which I did, or I could have discarded the Gnomish Servant first, which would have put Pixie Cavalry on top.
Yep.
Because I put Gnomish Servant on top, it's what gets drawn out by Regeneration. So even discarding in Deck of Wonders is a strategic decision. That's going to go into the discard. And the villain's going to get another card because it draws 1. Oh no! There's that Forest Troll again.
Oh man.
So imagine, if you will, this Gnomish Servant raised from the dead. I'm back! Stomp!
Not for very long.
Take it right back out. Bye-bye. So the troll
that is a great,
there's
there's some great comedy, cartoon humor right there, let me tell you. Like, the mental image of all that happening is pretty fantastic.
there is a whimsical but fierce battle
Yeah.
raging. It's not done with its rampage yet because it gets to attack the turn that it's played. It exhausts and attacks the pixie cavalry,
there's a
which
good
is going to
question.
be killed.
When Gnomish Servant is regenerated, does that trigger his draw one?
It does not. So the spell specifically says do not resolve card text. That makes a Gnomish Servant way less powerful. It makes drawing something out like Forest Troll way more powerful. And hey, Trolls and Regeneration kind of have a history, folks. So those cards thematically go together.
Good question, Matt.
I lose my Pixie Cavalry. Yeah, good question. Lose my Pixie Cavalry, and the Troll is just fine because it gets 2 damage dealt to it, but not enough to kill it. And at the end of every turn, minions go back to full health. I'm staring down a Forest Troll again. Okay.
Seems like
So
you've been
think
here
about this.
before.
Yeah, we find ourselves in this situation. Now, think about that last turn, the strategic decision I made. Had I pushed damage to face, the villain would still have their Pixie Cavalry. I would have lost mine, and I would only have a gnome up. So the board would have looked very different. It is now my turn. I'm going to draw 1. And I will also remember, right, I've seen all the baited traps, and baited trap is that removal spell that's strong enough to kill a troll. And I have nothing but spells in my hand right now.
Oh no.
I'm going to do something that is counterintuitive. And this is because I've played this game way too much. Right? So when you play a card, you have to resolve its cost, but then the text is only resolved just as much as you are able. So technically, I don't know why I'm zooming in. I can do this. I could pay the cost and play Lightning Strike. I wouldn't be able to resolve its card text of destroy a minion, but I would be able to resolve draw 1,
Okay.
which could draw me a card that's actually useful.
Yep.
Well, okay. So I have that option at my disposal, right? I'm not going to do it this turn because I think I can survive another turn, and then if I'm really desperate, that's what I'll do. So I'm going to wait a turn now, but that is in my back pocket, and I am able to do it. Some next level junk. Ooh, okay. So the villain draws a lightning strike of their own, which on the villain side says destroy the highest priority player minion. So notice lightning strike is stronger for the villain than it is for you, but it's going to miss. I don't have any minions. If I had blown my lightning strike to get a minion out there to trade with Forest Troll and then had it itself lightning strike, I would be furious. So I'm glad I waited.
That's a TTS flip the table moment right there.
Ooh,
Like that's it.
That's
Demo's over. We're done.
Press F to pay respects and flip the table. So the villain is still going to attack. I'm going to lose 5 health.
Oh.
Yeah, I am down to 7. We are in danger Will Robinson territory.
A little bit.
But that is the villain's turn, and I am back up. Let's see here. There's regeneration for me. Okay.
Okay.
I'm feeling desperate now because if the villain draws anything that has 2 attack or more, I'm dead. I need answers, and I'm running low. So I'm going to do what I described, which is I'm going to play Lightning Strike.
Yep.
I'm going to discard. I wish I had a minion to discard because then I could pull it back out with regeneration and get like massive value.
Yeah.
I'm going to discard Gust of Wind because it's not small minions I'm worried about. It's the big one. I'm not going to be able to kill anything with this, but I do get to draw 1. And I've drawn a Forest Troll.
That's pretty good.
Man, where was that one card ago?
Yeah.
Because if I had the Forest Troll in my hand, I could have used Lightning Strike to put Forest Troll into this card and survived another turn. As it is, my only option is to play Forest Troll out by paying the full cost of discard 2. So I was so close to having that turn there.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm emptying my hand just to keep my head above water. I play it sideways, and my turn it back upright. Let's see. Hang on to your butts.
All right.
Pixie Mesmer. Okay. So that's the draw. It's now time to draw battle lines. I'm going to force Pixie Mesmerist to go first. That's because they have collectively enough attack to destroy the Forest Troll. But if I force the Pixie Mesmerist to go first, it'll waste its attack attacking the Forest Troll. Then the other Forest Troll will close the deal.
Nice.
And we're going to board wipe. So I'm putting them in this order, intentionally putting Forest Troll on top because I'm hoping for another regeneration. I've survived. I haven't taken any damage.
You just hope that you get it and the villain doesn't, because that's going to be the sticky right there.
Reinforced dam. I'll put it out there, but that's not going to help me very much.
Right.
So end of my turn, I turn it up right. Villain goes.
Oh no. Oh no, that's what I was afraid was gonna happen.
No! Regeneration! I hate you! Oh, brutal. Where, again, one card
One
off
card
of what I
off,
needed
yep.
to do. One card off. So close. It's going to pull out the Forest Troll. It's going to pull it out exhausted, thank God. And it's going to draw a card for the villain, right?
Ruh-roh.
The villain side is stronger, and it draws a Poison Toad.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
So, this is salt in the wound because the Poison Toad has poison. That's going to destroy the reinforced dam. The dam isn't going to destroy it back. I'm just getting messed with now. Yep. So Fate is laughing. I draw a Gnomish Servant and play it tapped, but draw a card. I draw a Hungry Wolf.
That's a little more helpful.
That'll trade with what's on the board. I mean, I'm kind of at the whim of fate right now, but here we are. That's the end of my turn, and if nothing bad happens, I can clear the board again. And Tree Herd, thank you for that. That's what I wanted, of course.
I don't think I'd call that nothing bad happening.
Yeah, so we're going to keep this order. And my reasoning is the Forest Troll is able to destroy Hungry Wolf, and so it does. Hungry Wolf has 3 attack, and it's going to trade out.
But at least
the Gnomish Servant would just bounce. Yeah, the Gnomish Servant would just bounce off into Tree Herd, and isn't going to trade with it. And Poison Toad is a very dangerous target that I need out of the way. So if I put Poison Toad second instead of third, it'll actually trade with Gnomish Servant.
Which is kind of a waste on the villain side because, I mean, it's just taking out a one damage character.
It can kill literally every minion in the game.
Yeah.
It can work. It can work through Earth Shields. It's very powerful, and I got it with just a gnome, so that's okay. But I am gonna take 3 damage, hanging by a thread here. Let's draw here. I got a Poison Toad of my own. Yay!
That's a good friend to have.
I can't play it because of cost of discard 1.
Right.
No. So close. So again, this card, I'll turn it back over to the player side. The player has to pay a cost to play this card. So because I dumped my hand, because I'm at the Room of Fate, I just have to wait a turn and hope the villain. I don't even know what I could draw to. Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna get stomped. So the Ents have arrived.
The Ents have
that
arrived.
Spell
Yes.
For me, and
that's
I've
gonna
lost
sting a little.
That's rough. That's a tough play. And that is the game. So I've lost. Now, this is the cool thing about Deck of Wonders. Even though I lost, and hopefully that was a thrill ride, that was interesting decisions in every turn. There were several points where you heard me say, I've played this 300 times. I don't know the right thing to do.
Right.
And clearly I don't. Actually, I'll pause there. I'm really excited for better card game players than me to get their hands on this. And I've shared it with some, and it is revelatory. Because I'm excited for people to just break this wide open, find the combos that are going to win every time. That's the fun of these games is breaking, right? I had someone say that literally in a CCG, or they said specifically in MTG, every card breaks the rules in some way, and that's the fun of it. Everything's got something special. So I've lost here. Coming back to my train of thought, I've lost here, but I still progress because I would come down here, and on Colin's card it says, on your 3rd loss, open Legacy Pack B. I would check a box in that loss column, and I am one step closer to getting those Legacy Packs we talked about at the start.
Yep.
And opening up cards that one would hope would help. So if we go up here and look at those Legacy Packs, you see that Legacy Pack B is called Unexpected Allies.
Ooh.
So perhaps there could be something helpful in there.
Nice.
I'm not telling.
You have to watch more stuff to see what else he reveals.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to watch more stuff, or you'll have to play it for yourself at Gen Con. I am demoing this at Gen Con.
Cool.
By the time we get there, this will have all the final art inserted on the cards, and you'll have a chance to try the game for yourself. So we'll include a link for that. Come check us out at Gen Con.
Yeah, we'll share it on the page and stuff too.
And that is Deck of Wonders.
I really hope that you guys enjoy. I mean, like I said, it's such an interesting concept to have one deck that you have to build everything from, and coming from a history of playing CCGs and stuff like that. This is such I just love the idea of it. I think it's really awesome. So
Oh, thank you so
Make
much.
sure you guys are checking out this Kickstarter. But we have more exclusive stuff for you guys. I just have to figure out how to work on my gears. Hang on. We have another special friend to bring on tonight.
And I'm sorry, I stopped streaming, so hopefully,
Nope, you're fine.
I might have messed up your thing. Yeah,
you're good. If anyone consistently watches the stream, they're well aware of the mistakes that Kim can make all on her own to mess up the stream. So by no means did you do anything that I haven't already done.
That's funny. Okay, cool.
Yeah, leave it to me, man. If it can be broke, I'll figure out how to do it. But you'll see now we have another lovely face here with us, who is behind all this amazing artwork in this game. Hello, Miss Lauren Brown.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
I've been listening the whole time.
Probably laughing at our
behind
craziness.
The scenes. But
so
no,
welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh. So I know I sang your praises before, but seriously, this is some of my favorite art that I think I've ever seen in a game. You are incredibly talented.
Well, there's a lot of amazing artists out there, so that really means a lot.
Oh my gosh, you are quickly rising in the ranks of like this is wonderful. I'm seeing the same thing in the comments too. This is just I can't wait to see more of these cards develop into this art style and again, I'm partial to your corgi art. I really am. Waffles didn't want to make an appearance on the stream tonight, but
yeah, that one was definitely the hit. It got a really great response online because I think that everybody was really just like, they were like, what? Like the Pixies are riding corgis? And like, Dennis, if you want to give a little bit of backstory to that card.
Yeah.
We corgi parents are nuts. Like I already told Dennis that.
God.
Like we're a bit extreme.
I've met some before. My best friend's sister is a corgi parent, and very much so this is true. So.
Yeah, like we are a whole different crazy.
Oh yeah.
So I knew there's a series of Pixies in the game. I think we saw Mesmerist, which now has final art out. Go check that out.
It's amazing.
And Pixie Cavalry, which we saw on the table. And there's a series of Pixies, so there's more in the game. And they're all very small cards and that have something special about them. And I had the idea for a card on Pixie Cavalry that's just like, okay, the thing that's special about this Pixie is it's bulked up. It's bigger. You know,
oh, yeah.
This is a Pixie that lifts. So it's a 2/3 instead of a 1/2. And I was like, what represents that? And I was like, I know. What if it's riding something? That could be cool. And I asked a friend just casually. I was like, what do you think a Pixie would ride? You know, conversations that friends have.
Of course.
And he, obviously a corgi. And I was like, yeah, obviously a corgi. That's hilarious. He's like, no, I'm dead serious. Go look it up. This is a thing. It is an official thing in the folklore or in traditional folklore. Pixies ride corgis, like they have a special bond.
Ride them in the battle.
And from that moment forward, it had to be that.
Yeah, that's so cool. So tell it would we have seen any of your work anywhere else before, Lauren?
I'm trying to think. I've done work for some tabletop games in the past. Rockalypse, I think, was one of the first ones that I had done. Princess World, which just got a funded Kickstarter, is also one I had just done. I feel like there must be probably one more, but I'm forgetting, and it's just gonna have to be that way.
That's okay.
But so sorry if I didn't shout out anybody, but yeah, those two were the main ones. So you might have seen my work there, but this is definitely the most ambitious tabletop project I've ever done so far. So it's been really exciting to see the response online and to see it, start to gain traction. And just to be able to do art for it, because when I first got this, this job from Dennis, we met at Gen Con, and like Dennis was telling me, he was like, "Oh, this art, like your art here, this is what I want the game to be." And I'm like, "Well, perfect, that's awesome."
That's a great match.
Yeah, for sure. And then when I went to do the actual briefs, like I read the briefs, I saw the images that came with each one as a reference, and sometimes my own portfolio pieces would be in there, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I was like, cool.
I'm not afraid to steal.
It's supposed this is good. My art, which was an honor and also a privilege. It was really it flowed really organically. Me and Dennis have worked together really well.
Awesome.
And it's just been a joy to work on. Like aside from all the life stuff and the pandemic and everything.
Absolutely.
Just getting this thing done is just it's been a blast. It really has been
awesome.
So
I certainly hope this is not the last time that we see any of your art on anything. For
Oh,
sure.
it won't be.
Mhm.
It definitely won't be.
Where did you get the inspiration? Like, do you do a lot of fantasy art anyway, or?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So Gen Con, I mean, if anybody hasn't gone before, you definitely should go. But there's a lot of amazing artists that go there. And it was my first year actually attending Gen Con.
Nice.
But yeah, most of my art is already around this kind of theme where it's whimsical. It's, there's a lot of movement involved with it. An emphasis on line work, nouveau influences there. And just like, I like to tell like fun little stories in some of my pieces as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're
Yeah,
just like,
totally.
Just marks them off.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
like when,
no,
Oh,
you
go
go
on.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
yeah, no, when Dennis told me about the idea too of like the cards reversing themselves, I was like, oh, that would be a fun time to
Yeah.
really like make those graphics come alive and to really tell that story between the top and bottom side, or as we like to call it, the tame and the wild side.
Yeah.
And so, just like showing that progression and showing that more unhinged quality of the art compared to the original has been a lot of fun too, and that plays directly into my style and my inspirations. So it was really a perfect match for sure.
That's amazing. And again, like, and I love your pixies in this. I mean, I haven't seen a piece that I haven't loved already. I'm seeing the
Aw.
same things. Oh, I have someone saying that you're amazing, Lauren, in the chat.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
thank
Aw.
you.
Appreciate that.
I have somebody else willing to go in with me on corgis, fan art of
Corgis.
corgi stables. So
So
you have a
well,
whole
let's talk
subculture
about
now.
I think it's a very relevant place to talk about it then. We'll be selling prints of a lot of this card art available at Gen Con Online this year. So
Sweet.
Lauren, you probably, I don't know if you do. It's all weird now because it's all online. So I don't know if we're just
Yeah.
directing people to your Etsy shop or what. So there will be prints available. And then I am working on having playmats with the Pixie Cavalry art
Awesome.
available as well for purchase. So I can't say more than that because I haven't figured out the details more than that.
You heard it here first,
But
kids.
they will be available. Get at me on socials. Let me know. I'll put you on the short list to make sure that everyone who wants one can get one
Awesome.
in a timely manner. And then, of course, when we get to the Kickstarter, we'll make sure that's an add-on option.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
so for
remind
Gen
us.
Con, oh, sorry.
Nope. Go. You keep going.
Oh yeah, no, for Gen Con, there is a programming called the Looking Glass, which is basically your access to the artist alley. So if
Okay.
you have a Gen Con membership and registration, you can go to the Looking Glass and find me under there. That should direct you to my Etsy shop, which will be selling the prints and hopefully, we'll see maybe the play mat. If anything, we can just do pre-orders, and that would make it easier for everybody to not have to rush to print things. So I've been doing a lot of pre-orders in the past, so I think that works just fine too. But that's where you'll be able to find the merch, and the table that you're looking for would be LAB illustration or
Cool.
lab illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that we have a direction to your Etsy shop. So is that what your Etsy shop is under as well?
Yes, it is. You can find me on all social media.
We will
on
link
that.
all the things to that because.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't. So I guess on that note, you guys have a special surprise for us tonight.
Yes, we
Yes. I can run this from my screen if that
Okay.
works.
Yep.
Is that good?
I'll get to
Before,
see
you know,
before
Dennis-
all of you other people. I'm really sorry, but he has to bring up the
Yes.
screen first so I can see it. So sorry.
do. Did you get the
Yeah.
new one I sent, by the way?
I've got it. It's up on my screen right now.
Perfect.
This is Lauren, right? She, like, even now, like, just everything, every little additional touch and what have you. I'm gonna tantalize. I literally have the button up to show
He
it,
is
but I'm gonna stop
so
and I'm gonna
teasing
say
you guys.
something.
Oh my
Yeah.
I
goodness.
can like.
Backstory.
So we're going. Usually, what we'll do, just because it's easier on a screen, is we'll show the tame side first, and then we'll show the wild side.
Oh,
She's
sure.
like, here's the card, and here's the twist.
Nice.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun. In this case, on Regeneration, I feel the story in my head is that the villain side is actually the starting point of this story, and the your side is the twist. So what we're going to see first here is actually the villain side of the card. You're going to see for the first time the Regeneration art. You're also going to see for the first time the spell icon. This is the first time
Cool.
we've ever shown a final art spell card on stream or anywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, after being a total jerk and
And
tantalizing
then this will
you,
be a pause because I'm going to be an extra jerk. So keep talking.
Oh,
Keep talking about it, Dennis.
wow.
All right, my finger's over the button.
All right, go ahead, and then I will share it. Oh, and now I was like, and now my internet wheels keep spinning, but we're good.
Of course.
All right, so you say go, and I will hit the button.
You go ahead, and I will do
Go
this.
live. Here is the final
and then
art
I will do this.
for Regeneration.
Well, no, I won't. Haha, you guys, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Sorry. There we go.
You're good. You're good.
We are there.
And
Wow.
here we are. Ominous. And remember, this is the villain side of the card.
Oh,
This is
that's
theoretically
so
the wild
cool,
side
you
of the card.
guys.
I'm going to pull it up on my window, and I'm going to start zooming. And I'm confident I'm going to break it. But here
no,
we
it's
go.
working. We're
Oh
working.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
There you
Here
go.
we go.
Lauren,
And so you
that's
see this
amazing.
Thank you.
now. I'm going to ask: do you recognize this skeleton from anywhere?
Oh, that's the or I started to say gnome. Ha! No. That's our big baddie. That's the troll, right?
That's the troll.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
wow.
is a troll. You see, it is kind
Intertwined
of
in the tree and everything.
intertwined in a tree, and of course the tree on this side is death, or is dead.
Sure.
And you see kind of nature. I mean, nature reclaiming, right?
Yeah.
Like this is,
Amazing.
and this is. I think this of all cards, I think this really does illustrate why we refer to it as the tame side and the wild side versus
Yeah.
like the good and the evil side. It's never that simple. This is what nature does. This is reclamation. This is, this is something beautiful in its own way, even though it's very dark and barren. There's something to be found there. And then, I mean, what could be more freaking metal than a troll with a tree going through it, or a troll skeleton with a tree going through it? So, badass in every sense of the word.
Wow. I know. I'm
and then
like, I'm
I'll
totally off
scroll.
camera. I'm not even looking. I'm looking like leaning into my computer. And
And
I
you
like
can see
that
here,
spell
this-
symbol though. Like that to me
Yeah.
immediately goes. I went, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, there's kind
I
of a
feel like
magic
it
whoosh
instantly
to it,
clicks. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we've drank deep. We've looked at the
Amazing.
wild side or the starting side here. Do we want to zoom around and look at the player
I
side?
think we should.
Yes.
Let's do that. Get ready for some magic. Not if I, not that I'm hyping it or anything, but
No, not in the
so
least.
here we come.
Oh my
Here we come
gosh.
around to the player side
at
of
that.
Regeneration. And we see the story is not over for this troll yet. And actually, I should shut
Wow.
up. Lauren, what do you want to say about this card? Because this is your work here. I don't know why I'm the one talking. Like, I'm so sorry. You want to say? Should I go back to the wild side?
This
Okay.
one is just fine. Because
Talk about
this is actually the starting point anyway for me as the artist. What I really wanted to capture was just like this mystical feeling of just like
Yes.
some other force at work in the woods here. Whereas the wild side was the nature just reclaiming and doing its thing as nature usually does. This is something much more magical at play to contrast that very organic feel of like, just nature doing its thing.
Yeah.
So obviously you see that this is not nature. This is something else. This is the magic of the forest. This is the magic of whatever is at play here. And, as all trolls do, especially in magic, this troll is
Right.
coming back to life. And for this card, I was actually inspired by, like different Ghibli films and things like that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think tendrils like this have existed somewhere in that lore too. And so I really wanted to capture that and, use something familiar to really draw the player in and give it that, that mysticism. It's like, oh, like what's going to happen? But you can kind of tell the upward motion is like definitely
yeah.
the symbolism of just like this is going to rise again.
Oh, totally. And the lighting on this is just outstanding. Like, just all the
Thank
extra
you.
lighting elements that you have in it. But you're right. You immediately get the feeling that life is coming back into this. Like,
Yeah,
as
that's
you
what I
said,
really
like
wanted to
something
do.
magical is happening outside of, death reclaiming something.
Yeah, and it's like even the grass around it, like even the leaves, like there's new buds
Yeah.
coming onto the
Yeah.
tree. The grass is alive in this one. It's just like everything around this, like it's a radius of effect that it's all being affected
Oh, I love it.
by this magic of regeneration.
That's amazing.
And that is the story for this
I
card.
couldn't even make
Very,
one of those.
very hopeful image.
One of the magical, swirl. I couldn't have even done that. So
I
have
faith
looked
in you
right.
that you told me.
You're like, nope, that's not it. Oh, wow. Because they even look like some of them are almost like buds growing. I love it. There's so much detail
yes.
here. Outstanding,
you.
Yes,
you
I'll zoom out.
guys.
I'll zoom out so you can get the effect. This is what this is what you're going to be playing with, right? This is and every card in the deck of wonders has this, like, there's a ton of just little elements and beauty, like we described here, the tree actually coming back to life, the grass being greener. They always say the grass is greener. It's definitely greener when you draw this card.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And there's all these kind of just loving touches, if I can take the liberty of that word, that make the card so much fun to not just play with, but pour over.
Absolutely.
And kind of analyze and realize what you're seeing, even though it's been in front of you the whole time.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I don't even like the effect that you have with
that
like
is
the
art for
scroll for the
Regeneration.
text. That's really nice. That's a nice.
Oh,
added
thank
touch.
you. I appreciate that.
I'm somebody who will
it's,
get. I'll take too long to play the card because then I get lost at the card. Like, I'm somebody who gets lost in my cards when I play a game a lot. When I really appreciate the art, I'm like, what? Oh, yes, okay. I don't want to put this card in. I like looking at it.
You'll notice even you mentioned the scroll for the text, right? And we've stripped the text off so we could focus on the art. That on the villain side, it's kind of blackened around the edges.
Yeah,
and
I know.
A little more nefarious.
Such a nice detail.
I found in playtesting that it is, well, what I'll say in playtesting with black and white cards, it's very easy to lose track of which side is which.
Sure.
And so first off, I think color just works so hard for you on that front, and more distinct art. And then certainly just all the little touches in the art surrounding or the kind of UI elements surrounding do a job for you there.
Yeah, I think for pretty much all of the cards, you would have a really hard time losing yourself in which side is the player side and which side is the villain side.
Yeah,
so I really
totally.
wanted to make sure that it was like so much, so well differentiated between the two that like there's no doubt left in anybody's mind. It's like, oh yeah, like this is definitely like my side and this is the villain side. So yeah, I hope that comes across in all the cards.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
That is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. Outstanding. Thank you guys so much for sharing that with us. Like, I feel very honored that we got to check this one out. So, thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you for allowing us to share it.
Mm-hmm. It's been pure joy just sharing new art with people.
Now, are you doing more reveals up until Gen Con? Like, so should people be watching social medias for more of these?
You should. I'm thinking through. We either have 1 or 2 more reveals of card art before Gen Con. Although, for the card counters out there, right? You're going, okay, I saw 3 on the table. I know there's been 2 revealed already. This is 1 tonight. That means how many are left in the deck? They're going to be cards that we do not reveal until the Gen Con demos.
Nice.
And so if you want to be the first to see the final art, sign you up for the Gen Con Deck of Wonders demos. You're going to learn to play from me, which,
super fun.
Hopefully I did a good job.
He's
tonight.
A good teacher.
I don't know. and I'll be happy to answer any questions, share a little behind the scenes nuggets, and you will literally be hands on with the first time in the world these cards are being played with.
And Gen Con is free, you guys, so it's not costing you. You can get unlike having to spend $50 to get in the door at a normal Gen Con. It's free to get a badge for Gen Con. I think most of the events are just a couple of bucks tops.
I think it's $2. $2 is the floor, and I haven't increased that at all. So,
cool.
You are more than welcome at the table. You'll see, or I can't bring it back up right now, but the demo table that we played on is set up for 6 players at a time.
Cool.
My experience has been that it's an incredibly fun game to learn with a partner or learn alongside someone else.
Yeah.
Especially when one person's like, this game is easy. What happened to you?
Right? Yeah. You would totally have those moments.
Wildly different experience.
Yes. So.
Well, cool. I want to give. Does anybody in the chat before I know we've run probably a little longer, but I don't care. This was fun. Anybody in the chat have any other questions before I let these folks go to Betty Bye? Because we're all grown-ups and have to go do work things tomorrow, as much fun as that is.
Oh, yeah.
What?
No one told me that this is what being a grown-up was. Like, I thought it was all sunshine and rainbows, and I could just drive my car wherever I wanted. Like, nobody warned me what adulthood is really like.
I
felt
sometimes
unprepared.
you get to talk about cool card art, and it's all right.
This makes... True. I always joke, I was like, the real job, like, gets in the way of all the fun stuff I want to do all the time, so...
Yeah.
So they say no questions, only love, so everyone is showering you guys with love, so...
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
This was
I'm
amazing.
giving y'all love, too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see more. Remind us again, like, so before we wrap up, Lauren, where can we find all your lovely goodness?
All right, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I'm forgetting one. Oh my goodness.
Patreon.
Facebook, and Patreon and Etsy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Facebook, Patreon, Twitter, Etsy, Instagram. You can find me at LAB Illustration or Lab Illustration. It's my initials.
Awesome.
And that's just my username across all platforms. No underscores or anything like that. All one word. And like we'll be revealing more art. So please keep watching our channels so that you see when we're revealing the art. I'll be posting more Deck of Wonders art on my Instagram and possibly some process stuff. We'll see about that.
Oh, that's fun to watch. Like that, I find that so fascinating. Like, because I am not a gifted artist, but I love watching other people create art.
Yeah.
It's so cool to watch.
Yeah, so I'm not sure under what circumstances yet, but I might try to figure out how to do some time-lapse videos so I can actually show you what it looks like from start to finish making a card. So
Awesome.
So please look forward to that.
Absolutely.
And Dennis, take it away.
when are we going to be on Kickstarter?
Yes, so
Soon.
Deck of Wonders is launching on Kickstarter August 25th.
Cool.
Be there for it. You can find it on Kickstarter's like upcoming projects list and click notify me.
Yeah, that's
and
a cool
that
feature.
is hugely helpful. You can find me on socials of Facebook and Instagram at Deck of Wonders, all one word. Unfortunately, on Twitter, I had to be Deck of Wonders with underscores between
I saw
the
that
words.
today.
Yeah.
I went to tag
whatever.
you and went, that's not right.
Yeah,
That's not who I want.
I'm sure it's a cool project and they're doing their thing. I think they haven't tweeted since 2015, so whatever.
Oh, man.
But so Deck of Wonders on the socials in different forms.
Because you have a fairly active
join
Facebook
the
group for the game, right?
Yes, yeah. Particularly, I just recently put up a VIP launch party for the Kickstarter on Facebook. So join the Facebook group, join the event. There will be behind-the-scenes insight and giveaways
Everybody
during the
loves that
Kickstarter
word.
if you're a part of that group. Yes. So free game. That gets me all
Everybody
money,
loves
right?
that word.
It does that? Deck of Wonders will be the tier to get Deck of Wonders, like the base tier to get Deck of Wonders is going to be $35 on
Wow.
Kickstarter. So hopefully that'll accommodate you for the amount of game that you're getting. There are 3
Absolutely.
villains in the game. Every villain has special rules, special legacy unlockables, special cards, including, like I mentioned earlier, you buy the game, you get the full core set of cards to deck build with.
That's an amazingly awesome price.
Thank you. Did I say 35? I meant 45. No.
Yeah. Move it up, Dennis.
No. This is I'm excited to get this
That's
game
awesome.
into as many people's hands as possible. Yeah, I think that's all the things, and mostly I'm just in the socials, hanging out with wonderful people like yourself.
Yes, he's on our
and trying to
Discord,
get the
so
word
you
about
can
the game
hop in
out
there and chat with him if you have any
mhm.
special questions. Lauren has now been sucked into our Discord, so
Yes. I was like, oh, I have a new channel all of a sudden.
we're
This is
just gonna,
interesting.
we're a little zany, but other than that, so awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to Dennis and Lauren for being here. This was such a fun night for us. We cannot wait to see day one. We'll be rooting for you. We'll be sharing everything that we can too, as they produce updates. We'll be sharing them on our page too, so that you guys don't miss anything. Because we certainly want to see a very, very successful Kickstarter for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
All
Thanks for
right.
helping.
Well,
Looking
with
forward to
that,
it.
that's what's new, you guys. So that does it for Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday to check out another game coming to Kickstarter soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye.